true identity, only tribulations. Fake scraps of swine, we eat the worst of the animal kind. Used, confused, they set us in high places to be abused. Control the tribe, control the tribe. Our leaders take bribes to continue the lies. Fourth beast behind the scene in the skies, watching with the all-seeing eye. The heathen take flight into a new world order. Hebrews, sleepwalking, sleepwalking into a wicked system that's gonna fall. Awake, awake, reject Babylon. Hear the trumpet of awakening throughout the day and night. Awake, the Most High's people, the Israelites. The earth has swallowed the flood of deception. The harvest ripe for collection. His people are walking, standing like a mighty army. The Most High has summoned, the Hebrews are coming. Awake, come out of captivity. Awake, you who sleep. Arise, receive the Most High's laws and commandments. We are the Israelites.
In my mind, all these lies and delusions. Wake me up, show me a new dawn. Open your eyes, rise, children of the light. I am awakened, I am awakened. Clear my mind and my soul. Gave me a new mind. Oh, made me whole. I'll rise up.
Quam,
I'll be the new light.
Quam,
I am awakened.
Quam,
I am awakened.
Quam. Yes, you
I
are.
am awakened. All these lies and delusions. Wake me up. Show me a new dawn. Open your eyes, rise, children of the light. I am awakened. I am awakened. Israelite's journey.
Deuteronomy 28. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Most High thy power, to observe and do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that the Most High God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth. But if thou wilt not hearken to the voice of the Most High, to observe and do all his commandments, then curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
My mind, all these lies and delusions. Wake me up, show me a new dawn. Open your eyes, rise, children of the light. I am awakened, I am awakened.
Say shalom, shalom, shalom,
Shalom.
shalom. Want to first give all honor, praise, glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, Bahasham Hamashiach, Yahushua, his holy anointed Son, the Holy One of Israel, and the Holy One of the Most High, right? I want to say shalom to everyone who's watching on the live stream. I want to say shalom to everyone here at the school. Welcome to the House of David. We are located 191 Howard Avenue, in Brooklyn, New York. Again, 191 Howard Avenue, Brooklyn, New York. We are the House of David, where we teach the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans that they are the true descendants of the Israelites that we read about in the Holy Bible. We teach history, nationality, and repentance. We teach that the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans have a true heritage in the Bible, and that we are the people of the book. But we teach that we have fallen to a lower state over here in America and scattered throughout the four corners of the earth because we broke the laws of God found in the Bible given to us by Moses. And we teach that we can come out of this lower state that we're in by returning to these commandments that you read about in the first 5 books of the Bible, while following the aforementioned Yahushua Mashiach, whom the world calls Jesus Christ. We follow him as the example. We teach and believe that he is the Son of God, or the Son of the Most High, promised to the Israelites, the Messiah promised to the Israelites, sent to die for the nation, for the sins of the nation. We teach that he resurrected on the 3rd day, right, as prophesied in the scriptures and prophesied out of his own mouth. He was a sinless man, and therefore we try to emulate him and be sinless also. Okay. My name is Yarapa, and I will be presiding over tonight's Friday night service, where you can come join us again at 191 Howard Avenue, Brooklyn, New York, approximately 7:30 to 8 p.m. to about 9:30, 10. And then we have our main Sabbath day services on Saturday afternoons from 12 p.m. to approximately 2:30, 3 p.m. Then we host a second service afterwards from about 4:30, 5 p.m. to, till the evening comes. All right. So tonight, we're going to get into, we're preparing for the Passover season. Okay. Last week was the new moon, the first new moon of the year. And, Zach, do that later. We coming into the new year. Okay. Like I said, last week was the new moon for the first new moon of the year. So that means Passover season is coming around. All right. So tonight we're actually going to set the foundation for the Passover. As we know, Passover is occurring on April 13th at sundown. We are keeping our Passover on April 13th, next Sunday, not this coming Sunday, but next Sunday at sundown. So we're just tonight we're starting to lay the foundation for why we keep the Passover, where it came from, and the events leading up to it. But for now, as I'm prone to do, as I usually do every time I teach a Friday night service, I want to give honor to the weekly Sabbath day, right? And actually discuss it just a little bit in detail about why we keep the Sabbath day. So we're going to Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha, Ecclesiasticus or Sirach in the Apocrypha, chapter 33 and verse 7.
Okay. Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha, also known as Sirach 33 and verse 7. Why doeth one day excel another? When as all the light of every day in the year is of the sun.
Right. So he says, why does one day excel another when the light of every day is of the sun? We get the same light from the same sun every single day of the year. So what makes one day excel or higher than another? Right. Go ahead.
By the knowledge of the Most High. They were distinguished.
Right. It says by the knowledge of the Most High, they were distinguished, meaning he put a difference between them. Okay. It's the Most High who put a difference between the days. Right. Read on.
And he altered seasons and feasts.
Right. By the knowledge of the Most High, he altered seasons and the feasts associated with those seasons. Notice how every season is in order. Okay. We start with the spring. Then we go towards the summer, and we end with the fall and the winter, and they're always in order. There's never any discourse. There's never any a discontinuation of the seasons. We never go out of order with the seasons. Okay, it's always that way every year, right? We get the same day, the same light from the same sun every year, and we get the same seasons by the knowledge of the Most High. So it's the Most High who does this. Okay. And the feast associated with those seasons is again acknowledged by the Most High. Okay, he's the one who determines what feasts coincide with what season, right? So in the spring, we have our first feast, which is the Passover / Feast of Unleavened Bread. And we're going to get into that just a little bit. But continue, verse 8. Verse 9, Slakia.
Verse 9. Some of them had he made high days and hallowed them.
And hallowed them, right?
And some of them had he made ordinary days.
So it's the Most High who determines it. Basically, verses 8 and 9 answer verse 7. Okay. Why does one day excel another? Why is one day higher than the other when we get the same light from the same sun? It's because the Most High said so. He's the one who determines which days are high days and hallowed them, meaning he sanctified them. He made them different than other days. And some he just made regular, ordinary days, right? So by here, we know that it's the Most High who does this, okay? And tonight is one of those days, or begins one of those days, Khan. Tonight begins the Sabbath day, the weekly Sabbath day, all right? From Friday sundown, so-called, to so-called Saturday sundown. These are pagan names that Esau gave to the days of the week, but we know them as the Sabbath day, okay? The 6th day and then the Sabbath day. If you remember last week's class, I taught that there was really no names for the days of the week according to Hebrew custom except the Sabbath day, okay? There were no names for the days of the week, only the Sabbath day. But we know that so-called Friday sundown to so-called Saturday sundown is the weekly Sabbath day. And it's the Most High who distinguishes that. Okay. And we're going to read about that all the way in the beginning. So we can go to Genesis chapter 2, verse 1 to 3.
Okay.
Because this goes all the way back to the beginning. All right. All the way back to the beginning.
Genesis chapter 2, verses 1. Thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and all the host of them.
Right. When you read Genesis chapter 1, it gives you a detailed account of everything that the Most High made and in which order he made them. Okay. So it says, thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and the hosts of them. So the things that inhabit the earth and inhabit the heavens. Okay. That's what it means by the hosts thereof. So in heavens, you have the sun, the moon, the stars, the angels, and everything else, Khan. And on the earth, you have man, beast, plant, fish, birds. Okay. Those things inhabit each different realm. Okay. He said those on this day, they were finished. All right. Go ahead.
Verse 2. And on the 7th day, the Most High ended his work, which he had made.
Right. So on this day, going into the 7th day, he stopped what he was doing. Okay. He ended his work. Right. Go ahead.
And he rested on the 7th day from all his work which he had made.
And he rested on the 7th day. That's what Sabbath means. Shabbat. It means rest, stop, cease. Okay. So that's what it means. Read on.
Verse 3. And the Most High blessed the 7th day.
He blessed it. Right. Go ahead.
And sanctified it.
Sanctified. See, remember we read it in Ecclesiasticus. He said that the Most High distinguishes the days. He said this day is a holy day. When it says he sanctified it and blessed it, right? He said this is a holy, sacred, set apart day. Okay, go ahead.
Because that in it he had rested from all his work which the powers created and made.
Right. So it said he rested from all his work. It gives you the reason why he blessed it. It says he stopped what he was doing and he sanctified this day because that was the end of the work. That was the end of everything. So he took a rest. He stopped what he was doing. And he said, this is a holy day. I will sanctify this day. All right. And he commanded us to do the same thing. Right. Let's go to Exodus chapter 20. And start at verse 8.
Exodus 20 and verse 8. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy.
Right. He said, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. So first of all, he said, remember, because he knew that we would forget it. Okay. In this time, in this day and age, the Most High knew that we would forget the Sabbath day because the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, and those throughout the four corners of the earth that are descendants of the true Israelites, most of us don't know when the true Sabbath day is. Most of us think that Sunday is the Sabbath day. Sunday is the first day of the week. How can it be the Sabbath day? A lot of us that practice Christianity, Catholicism, and every branch thereof, we believe that Sunday is the Sabbath day when the scriptures don't say that. Okay, it's clear when you look at a calendar, it's clear that Saturday, so-called Saturday, is the seventh day of the week. How do you say Saturday in Spanish? How do you say it in Italian? Sabato or sabado. It sounds like Sabbath, right? Because even they know that it was the seventh day of the week, which is the Sabbath day. Okay, so he said, remember it to keep it holy, right? Read on.
9. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work.
So you get 6 days out the week, right? Sunday, so-called Sunday through so-called Friday evening, right? You get 6 days to do all your work, whatever you got to do, okay? Some of us have jobs, some of us have businesses, some of us work, do laborious work for a living, all the above, right? You get 6 days to do that, your grocery shopping, your chores, your laundry, your car care, housework, whatever you got to do. You got 6 days out the week to do it, right? Go ahead.
10. But on the 7th day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy power.
Right. So he said on the 7th day, it is the Sabbath of the Most High, right? The Sabbath is the 7th day, right? Go ahead.
In it thou shalt not do any work.
Right. You're not supposed to do any work on the Sabbath day, right? Go ahead.
Thou,
You, go ahead.
nor thy son,
Nor your son,
nor thy
So
daughter,
your children are supposed to get the Sabbath days off, all right? You're not supposed to have them do their weekly chores on the Sabbath day. You're not supposed to have them go to school, or if they have a job, they can't do any work on the Sabbath day. If you have land, they cannot do any work on the Sabbath day. You're not supposed to have them go mow the lawn, go wash the car, go clean the gutters, or take out the trash. None of that. They have 6 days to do that. Okay, they have 6 days to do all their chores, but on the 7th day, they rest. Your children too, all right? Go ahead.
thy manservant, nor thy maidservant.
So if you have people that work for you, right? If you have a maid or a butler, people who tend to your house or tend to your household, guess what? They're supposed to get the Sabbath day off. If you have a business, you own a business and you have people that work for you, you have to give them the Sabbath day off. They're not allowed to work. Okay, and you as an employer or a boss, you have that power. If you own the company and you have people that work for you, you sign their paychecks or whatever have you, or you have people who come and work on your land, or work on your house, or work on this or work on that, people that contract for you, you are supposed to give them the Sabbath day off. All right, go ahead.
Nor thy cattle.
Right, if you have animals, right, if you have pets, or if you have animals that work the land for you, that till the ground, or you own cattle or any of the sort, you are supposed to give them the Sabbath day off too. They deserve a rest. Okay. They call it, in old times, they called them beasts of burden because they worked for us. But according to the scriptures, they're supposed to get the Sabbath day off. All right. Read on.
Nor thy stranger that is within thy gates.
So whenever people came into our land, right, whether it was the heathen, all right, or whether it was people that we did not know, or even today, if you have people that are not in the truth, or if you have people come into your house, they're supposed to keep the Sabbath day also. They're supposed to abide by the laws of the Most High. Okay, so you can't have somebody come over to your house on the Sabbath day and start cooking meals and taking care of the house, or any kind of laborious work for you. No, they are supposed to get the Sabbath day off as well. They're supposed to abide by this. Okay, read on.
11. For in 6 days Yahweh made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is,
right,
and rested the 7th day. Wherefore Yahweh blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it.
See, that's what we read about in Genesis chapter 2. The Most High created everything in 6 days, and on the 7th day he rested. Okay, he rested on the 7th day. All right, now jump ahead to Genesis chapter 31, verses 12 to 18.
Genesis 31, verse 15.
So verse 12.
12. Salakia. 12. Genesis 31, verse 12. And he said, lift up now thine eyes.
No, 31 and 12. 31 and 12.
31 and 12?
Exodus 31 and 12.
Exodus, okay. Salakia.
What did I tell you?
You said Genesis.
Salakia. I meant Exodus.
Exodus 12. 31 and 12.
31 and 12. Come on.
31 and 12. Exodus 31 and verse 12. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, speak thou also unto the children of Israel, saying, verily, my Sabbath ye shall keep.
Right. He said, verily, my Sabbath ye shall keep. So whenever people tell you, oh, Saturday is the Sabbath for you. No, 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 no. Saturday is your Sabbath. No, no, no. This is the Most High's Sabbath. Okay. I did not make this up. I did not determine this. I did not create this. This wasn't my idea. It says, verily, my Sabbaths ye shall keep. We read about it in Genesis chapter 2, and we read about it in Ecclesiasticus 33. We did not make this up. Okay, this is not our determination that today is a Sabbath day. No, the Lord said it himself. He said, this is my Sabbaths you shall keep. Okay, he was the one who distinguished it. He was the one who said, this day is a Sabbath day. This day is a regular day. We did not make this up. Okay, I always get tired of hearing people say, oh, that's your Sabbath. No, I didn't make this up. It's not mine. I didn't create this. Okay, I didn't come up with this. This wasn't my idea. All right, I'm happy that it is the Sabbath day, but I didn't come up with this at all. Fine. Okay, read on.
For it is a sign between me and you.
Right, so that's even more important. He said it's a sign. The Sabbath is a sign between us, right? Go ahead.
Throughout your generations.
Right, so the Sabbath day is a sign between the children of Israel and the Most High. One of many signs. Okay, it's one of many signs that we have that we are the children of Israel, right? Go ahead.
That ye may know that I am the Lord that doeth sanctify you.
Right, that I'm the one who sanctifies you. That the Most High put the Sabbath day on us so that way we know he sanctified us. We did not come up with this, right? We did not come up with this. All right, read on.
14. Ye shall keep the Sabbath, therefore, for it is holy unto you.
Right, it's holy unto us, meaning we have to treat it as a holy day, which it is. It is a different day from every other day of the week. Okay, go ahead.
Everyone that defileth it shall surely be put to death.
And that's how serious the Most High wanted us to take the Sabbath day. He said anybody who violates it, who defiles it, shall be put to death. Okay, we read about that in, I believe it was Numbers, with the brother that was picking up sticks. And everybody stoned him, all right? They was trying to figure out what was going to do with him. The Most High said, kill him. Okay, kill him. All right, go ahead.
For whosoever doeth any work therein, that soul shall be cut off from among his people.
See, that's what it said. He said every man that violates the Sabbath day, his soul has to be cut off from the people. All right, read on.
Okay, 15. 6 days may work be done, but in the seventh is the Sabbath of rest.
Right.
Holy to the Lord. Whosoever doeth any work in the Sabbath day, he shall surely be put to death.
And he said it twice for good measure, right? That's how serious that the Most High wanted us to take the Sabbath day. That he said, if you violate it, I'm going to kill you. All right. Read on.
16. Wherefore the children of Israel shall keep the Sabbath, to observe the Sabbath throughout their generations, for a perpetual covenant.
You know, it says for a perpetual covenant, meaning a continuous covenant. Continuously, all right? It didn't end, it didn't stop, it didn't pause, it was continuous. Go ahead, Gowda.
Yeah, so what about today? That some of us have to work, or our boss won't let us off.
Well, that's where grace comes in, okay? Grace has to come in because it's not your fault you can't get a Sabbath day off, right? Especially if you ask for it, if you put in every effort to keep the Sabbath day, right? You have grace to try and get it right until you can start to keep the Sabbath day. I remember that was the case it was for me in the beginning, right? I used to have to work on the Sabbath days too, until I got to a point where I asked my boss, like, listen, this is for religious observances. I need to have Saturdays off. And they gave it to me. And now where I work now, my days off are built in. So I get the Sabbath day off as much as I can. You know what I mean? Right. So for those brothers and sisters who can't, unfortunately, get the Sabbath day off, you have grace, but I will say, keep the Sabbath day to the best of your ability, right? If you can avoid breaking certain commandments on the Sabbath day, then, then try your hardest, right? For example, right? If you know that you can't buy food on a Sabbath day because we're not supposed to buy and sell, right? you're supposed to, on Friday, right, so-called Friday, you got to make food so that way you can take to work on Saturday. That way you don't have to buy anything. Or if you're driving to work, right, and you know that you might need gas on the way, right, you might not have enough gas to get to work, fill up your tank on Friday, right? In fact, there's a script, where is that, where we were in the wilderness, it said on where we had to do double the work on the Sabbath on Friday, so that way we can avoid working on the Sabbath. Where's that at? I know you know, Zach. Tell me where it's at. Hold on. I know it's somewhere. No, you basically got to prepare double. Double. Better pay double ox as he shows him. He shall pay double to his neighbor. He shall double the six. No. Like we had to basically gather double so that way we can prepare for the Sabbath. No, it's not in Deuteronomy. I think it's in Exodus. Prepare double.
Yes, that's Exodus 16.
It's Exodus 16.
22.
Okay. Let's get that. Exodus 16. Yes. Start at verse 22.
Okay. And it shall, Exodus 16, verse 22. And it came to pass that on the 6th day, they gathered twice as much bread.
There you go. Go ahead.
2 omar for one man.
Right. This was when we were eating the manna, all right, the bread from heaven and the quails, right? The quails and the manna that we got sent because we were complaining about starvation in the wilderness. So the Most High sent manna, bread from heaven, right? And they told us, like, he told us to gather twice as much on this day because it's the Sabbath coming. You're not going to be able to gather anything, all right? Read on.
Okay. And all the rulers of the congregation came and told Moses. And he said unto them, this is that which the Lord had said.
Right. This is what the Most High said. He said this, not me. Right. Go ahead.
Tomorrow is the rest of the holy Sabbath.
Right.
Unto the Lord. Bake that which he will bake today.
Right.
And seeth that ye will seetheth. And that which remaineth over lay up for you to be kept until the morning.
Right. So he said, look, tomorrow's a Sabbath day, right? Do what you got to do today. All right. Do what you need to do today, because tomorrow you're not going to be able to do it. So for you brothers and sisters that have to work on the Sabbath day, get all what you would normally do on your normal shift. Do it today, okay? If you usually bake breakfast or make lunch or breakfast in the morning so you can take to work, do it on Friday so that way on the morning you don't have to cook, you don't have to bake anything, you don't have to fry anything or whatever, okay? If you like to make a big lunch for yourself, double your portion on Friday so that way on Saturday you could just take it to work. All right. If you usually buy gas or you buy your Metro card, or some of you who take the subway or the trains and buses, you fill up your Metro card on the way to, fill it up on Friday. Okay. That way you trying to mitigate every opportunity to break the Sabbath. Okay. That's where grace comes in. Okay. Because especially if you've asked repeatedly for the Sabbath day off and they're not giving it to you, up until you can finally find a way to get the Sabbath day off, this is what you have to do. Okay, mitigate every opportunity for you to break the Sabbath. The best way to keep the Sabbath is to prepare for it. Okay, so this is what we have to do, and the scriptures tell us this. All right, read on.
Exodus 31 and 17. It is a sign between me and the children of Israel forever. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, and on the 7th day he rested and was refreshed.
Right. And he repeats what we read about in Genesis and what he said in Exodus 20. Well, the Most High created everything in 6 days, and on the 7th day he rested. All right, read on.
18. And he gave unto Moses, when he had made an end of communing with him upon Mount Sinai,
right,
2 tablets of testimony.
2 tablets of testimony, right?
Tables of stone written with the finger of the Most High.
There you go. So this was when he was up on Mount Sinai, right? He got the tablets of stone, and he came down with it, written with the finger of the Most High, right? So we see that the Sabbath day is a serious occasion, all right?
Con.
It is a blessed day and it is a holy day, right? So I want you to jump to Psalms chapter 118, verse 24.
Psalms 118, verse 24. This is the day which the Lord had made.
Right.
We will rejoice and be glad in it.
Right. This is the day that the Most High Power has made. Okay. We will rejoice and be glad in it. Why? Because every Sabbath day that comes in, we are inching ever closer and closer and closer to our salvation. Okay. As each Sabbath day ticks off the calendar, we get closer and closer to the day where we can finally get out of here, out of this hell that is called Babylon the Great. Con?
Con.
All right. So we have to be rejoiceful, brothers and sisters, because not everybody makes it to the Sabbath day. Okay, not everybody makes it each and every day. We have to be thankful and grateful that the Most High allowed us to live another day to come to the Sabbath day and to come before him and worship him. Okay, because that's all he really asked for. The Most High just wants obedience and worship. That's it. That's not a hard thing to do. He just wants you to keep his laws and be righteous. That's it. That's not hard. Okay, he just wants a little bit of praise. That's it. Thankful, just the gratitude. I did all this for you. I gave you laws. I gave you the entire planet to live off of. All I want is some thankfulness, some gratefulness, some gratitude. That's all I need, right? That's all the Most High ever really wanted from us. Just some gratitude, Con. If you really think about it, that's all he ever asked of us. Gratitude. I gave you everything. I prepared everything for you and gave you guidelines to live by. All I ask is that you thank me in return, because there's really nothing that we can do for the Most High. There's really nothing that we can give him that'll suffice what he has given us. It's not an even trade. There's no even exchange with the Most High. Whatever he gives to us, we can't give him anything of equal or greater value. So that's all he asked for, is just a little bit of praise and a little bit of thankfulness. Go ahead.
Yeah, can I read this precept?
Sure.
This is Romans 12 and 2. And be not conformed to this world,
Con.
but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind,
Right.
that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of the Most High.
Right. So we see that we can't be conformed to what the world thinks. Okay. We can't be going by what the world thinks. The world thinks that Sunday is the holy day of the week. The world thinks that Easter Sunday is the resurrection. The world thinks that Passover is null and void. And the world thinks that Christmas is the birth of Yahushua, the birth of the Messiah. We can't conform to these things, but we have to be transformed, right? It says that way we may prove what is the good and will acceptable, perfect will of the Most High. We have to show the world what it means to be a son of the Most High, a daughter of the Most High. And by doing that, we can't conform to this world, because this world will send us straight into the pit. All right. That's it on that?
Can I read one more?
Sure, go ahead.
1 John 2 and 15.
There you go.
It says, love not the world,
Love not this world.
neither the things that are in the world.
Right. Don't love the world or anything in it. Right. All the ways of the world, we have to turn our eye to it, turn our backs on it. We cannot conform ourselves to this. Right. Go ahead.
If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him.
And if see that, if you love the world, the Most High can't love you. Why? Because this world is evil. All right. This world is evil. All right. In fact, get John in the Saint John.
Let me finish this.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh,
There you go.
and the lust of the eyes, and the pride of
And
life
the pride of life.
is not of the Father,
There you go. The Most High does not create these things.
but is of the world.
Right. It's not of the world. We came up with these things. The world did. It's all contrary to the Father's ways.
And the world pass away,
Right.
and the lust thereof.
Right.
But he that doeth the will of the Most High abideth forever.
Abides forever. You inherit eternal life. Okay. So we have to get out of this worldly way of thinking, this American way of thinking. All right. That British way of thinking. All of that has to pass away. All that has to be done away with. If you are a true repentant Israelite, the ways of the world should and would disgust you. Okay? All right? Get John chapter 7, verse 7. Oh, go ahead. Shalom, elder. Shalom, elder. Okay. Shalom, elder. Elder sister.
And you know, this is really our life.
Yep.
This is our life, not that world out there.
Mm-hmm.
This is our life. So John chapter 7, verse 7.
Mm-hmm.
The world cannot hate you,
Right.
but me it hateth,
Right.
because I testify of it,
Right.
that the works thereof are evil.
See, Yahushua spoke, and he said that the works of the world are evil. Okay, and because of that, the world hated him for it. And the world that he's talking about is Israel, because that's who he spoke to, right? He always spoke to the Israelites. So when he says the world, he's talking about our people, those of us that were walking with him. The other nations knew nothing about Yahushua. They didn't know who he was, right? He was speaking to the Israelites, and he was telling them, listen, what y'all doing is wrong. The ways of y'all ways are evil. Okay. And that's what we do today. Everybody hates us because we say, look, the things that y'all do are evil. Y'all walk around with your pants hanging off your behind. You're celebrating wicked holidays. You're eating unclean foods. You're worshiping the wrong thing. You're worshiping false gods and this, that, and the third. What y'all doing is evil. And the world hates us for it, just like they hated Yahushua for it. Yeah, bro.
Precept.
Yeah.
John 3 and 19. And this is the condemnation, that light is come into the world.
And men love darkness.
And men love darkness
There you go.
rather than light.
Rather than light. They rather
Because their deeds were evil.
There you go. Because the things that they were doing were evil. Okay? He said, read that again. Read that again.
Okay, John 3 and 19. And this is the condemnation.
Right. This is the condemnation. This is what gets your soul cut off from the Most High. Right. Remember how Yahushua said that don't fear him that's able to kill the body, but fear him that's able to kill the soul. Right. This is how you get your soul cut off, literally killed. Okay. Make it so that you don't exist anymore. Period. Go ahead.
That light is come into the world.
Right. Yahushua is that light. Okay. He is the light that came into the world. He is the light that came to us, right? The Israelites. Go ahead.
And men love darkness rather than light.
Right. See, men love darkness rather than light. Okay. Because you think about it like this, right? Say you've been asleep for a minute or two, right? You know, you in your good sleep, you resting, you know, you got your snooze going, and then somebody bursts into your room and turns the light on. What happens? You go, it's too bright, right? You go, turn that light off, kill that light, kill that light. That was Yahushua. Everybody was saying, turn the light off. He's too bright. Turn it off. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to see it. My eyes haven't adjusted yet. That was Yahushua. People rejected that light because they rather walk around in the darkness. Because, you know, when it's dark out, your pupils expand. So you can see better. But when that light flickers on, your pupils contract, they get smaller, and it's hard to see. So your eyes can't adjust as quick, right? That's what Yahushua is saying. Okay, it's the same exact thing. The light is too bright for some people, and Yahushua was that light. And this is what happens, right? Read on.
Because their deeds were evil.
Right, because the light got shined on their evil. Yahushua exposed a lot of evil in Israel at the time, and they hated him for it, and they wanted to kill him for it. And the same thing's gonna happen to us. So the more we expose evil in the world, guess what? They're gonna start coming after us too.
God.
All right. So with that, right?
We was at John 7:7. You want to go back to?
No, that was it.
Okay.
So from there, right? Like I said before, Passover's coming up soon. In fact, it's like maybe 10, 11 days from now. It's like it. So we're going to just start to lay the foundation a little bit for what happened, okay? We're going to do a little bit of reading. And by a little, I mean kind of a lot, but I won't go too far. Okay. I want to start with Genesis chapter 50, or do I want to start at Exodus 1?
Genesis 50?
Yeah. Wow.
50?
Yes.
And verse 1?
No. Yeah, start at verse 1. And I want you to read kind of quickly because we got a lot of chapters to read.
Okay. Genesis chapter 50 and verse 1. And Joseph fell upon his father's face and wept upon him and kissed him. And Joseph commanded his servants, the physicians, to embalm his father, and the physicians embalmed Israel.
Right. So this was after Jacob had died, right? Jacob died. He was an old man. I think he was, what, 175, if I'm not mistaken. I forgot all the, like, exactly how old Jacob was, but he died an old man in Egypt, and Joseph cried over this, right? And they prepared his body for a funeral, right? They embalmed him, which is usually not our custom. It's more so an Egyptian custom to embalm the bodies, because remember, they preserved their bodies, right? We didn't. We buried our dead as soon as we got them, right? But because we were in Egypt, this is what they did. All right, go ahead.
Verse 3. And 40 days were fulfilled for him, for so are fulfilled the days of those which are embalmed.
Right, so it was a 40-day mourning period for them, right? Go ahead.
And the Egyptians mourned for him 10 days.
Right,
10 days.
They mourned for him 70 days. All right, go ahead.
4. And when the days of his mourning were past, Joseph spake unto the house of Pharaoh, saying, If now I have found grace in your eyes, speak, I pray you, in the ears of Pharaoh, saying, My father made me swear, saying, Lo, I die in my grave which I have digged for me in the land of Canaan. There shalt thou bury me. Now therefore let me go up, I pray thee, and bury my father, and I will come again.
Right, so I actually got a message saying that Jacob lived to 148 years old. All right, 148. So the water's for that. But yes, Jacob made his children swear to him that they would bury him in the land of Canaan because he had purchased land there, right? So Joseph said to Pharaoh, let me go and bury my father in Canaan because that's what he wanted. That was in his will. All right, go ahead.
Okay, 7. And Joseph went up to bury his father, and with him went up all the servants of Pharaoh, the elders of his house, and all the elders of the land of Egypt.
Wow, so he had a great big party, or a lot of people came to his funeral, right? Read on.
8. And all the house of Joseph, and his brethren, and his father's house, only their little ones, and their flocks, and their herds, they left in the land of Goshen.
So Joseph left his children and his flocks back in Goshen, right? Go ahead.
And there went up with him both chariots and horsemen, and it was a very great company.
Right.
And they came to the threshing floor of Atad.
Of Atad.
Atad, which is beyond Jordan. And there they mourned with a great and very sore lamentation. And he made a mourning for his father 7 days.
Right.
And when the inhabitants of the land, the Canaanites, saw the mourning in the floor of Atad, they said, This is a grievous mourning for the Egyptians.
Go ahead.
Wherefore, the name of it was called Abel Mizraim, which is beyond Jordan.
So Abel Mizraim means the mourning of the Egyptians, all right? Mourning for the Egyptians, because remember, there were a lot of Egyptians that came in support of Joseph, right? Remember, Joseph was governor in Egypt. He was second in command after Pharaoh. So the fact that his father died, it was like the vice president, his father, passing away. So they threw a big funeral for him. A lot of people came back to Canaan to bury Jacob, right? Read on.
12. And his sons did unto him according as he had commanded them.
Right. Go ahead.
For his sons carried him into the land of Canaan and buried him in the grave of the field of Meshpelah,
Machpelah.
which Abraham bought with the field of a possession of a burying place of Ephron, the Hittite, before Mamre.
Right. You can read about that in Genesis chapter 23, verses 12 to 20. All right. You can write that down. Read that in Genesis chapter 23, verses 12 to 20. Abraham had bought a plot of land to be buried in like a family plot, so to speak. How all his descendants, well, his immediate family can be buried there, right? Read on.
And Joseph returned into Egypt, he and his brethren, and all that went up with him to bury his father.
Right.
After he had buried his father.
Right.
And when Joseph's brethren saw that their father was dead, they said, Joseph will peradventure hate us,
Right.
and will certainly bequit us all the evil which we did unto him.
So as soon as Jacob died, right, Joseph and the other 11 brothers, well, 10 really, because Benjamin had nothing to do with this. Benjamin wasn't part of the evil.
Right.
Benjamin wasn't part of the evil. They said to each other, they were like, look, now that dad is dead, Joseph's gonna like pay us back for us selling him off into Egypt, right? They were thinking that, well, there's nothing stopping him now. Dad was probably stopping him before, but now that dad's gone, he's probably gonna take revenge on us, right? Go ahead.
16. And they sent a messenger unto Joseph, saying, Thy father did command before he died, saying, So shall ye say unto Joseph, Forgive, I pray thee now, the trespass of thy brethren and their sin, for they did unto thee evil. And now we pray thee, forgive the trespass of the servants of the Most High of thy father. And Joseph wept when they spoke unto him.
Right. So because they were afraid. They remember Joseph has power now, so he can do whatever he wants to them. Essentially, he can turn to Pharaoh and say, you know, they were the ones who sold me here. I was in prison because of them. They did this to me. They're the reason why I'm here. But look at what Joseph says. Read on.
And his 18. And his brethren also went and fell down before his face, and they said, Behold, we be thy servants. And Joseph said unto them, Fear not, for am I in the place of the Most High?
Right. So they bowed before him, and he said, Don't do that. He said, Don't be afraid, because I'm not the Most High. Right? Go ahead.
Okay, 20. But as for you, ye thought evil against me.
Right. He thought evil to do. They were looking to do evil. Why? Because they were jealous of him. Right. When you go back and read the history, you read that the brothers were jealous of Jacob because Jacob loved Joseph more than his others. Right. Go ahead.
But the Most High meant it unto good. To bring to pass as it is this day.
Right.
To save much alive.
So we see that Joseph was thinking differently. He was like, look, y'all were thinking to do evil, but the Most High had a plan this entire time so that way I can save a bunch of people. Go ahead.
I think that's why he was weeping when they was talking to him, because their thoughts were so contrary to what he was thinking. He wasn't thinking the way they were thinking.
Exactly.
They were on a cardinal level, and he was on a spiritual level.
Right. Because he's probably thinking to himself, why am I here? Why did they do this to me? And then once he starts to become powerful in Egypt, that's when he goes, oh, that's why I'm here. I was meant to be here so that way I can save all these lives and save the lives of my brethren too.
Right.
And my father, because remember the famine had reached Canaan. There was no food in the land. So once they found out that there was food in Egypt, right? Once they saw that there was food in Egypt, they went down there. That's where they were, because Joseph had the plan in place to save food. All right. I want you to hold that. Give me Romans 8:28. And correction, Jacob lived 147 years. Okay, 147 years.
147.
Khan.
Okay. You go Romans 8 and 28.
Khan.
8 and 28. Romans 8 and 28.
Mm-hmm.
Oops, excuse me. Eight. So,
You're right over there?
8.
Romans 8 and 28.
Yeah,
Because,
tell you.
again, we're saying that Joseph understood his assignment, right? Joseph understood that the Most High sent him into Egypt for a reason. Although his brothers were trying to create evil and mischief against him, he went into evil. He was thinking that, okay, the Most High has me here for a reason. What's that reason? Read on.
Romans 8 and 28. And we know that all things work together for good to them that love the Most High.
Right. So we know that all things work together for good for those that love the Most High. Because Joseph loved the Most High, he understood, okay, I'm here for a reason. The Most High wants me here for a reason, right? Go ahead.
To them who are the called according to his purpose.
Right. So, of course, Joseph was called to do a specific thing in Egypt so that way he can save many lives and save the lives of his brethren. And now his brothers are feeling guilty and ashamed and were afraid for their lives because they knew they were evil against him. And look, now he saved us. Okay? Through the Most High, he saved us, because what if they didn't send him into slavery? What if he never wound up in Egypt? They may have died of hunger over in Canaan, right? They may have died in the land of Canaan out of hunger, but because their brother was out there in Egypt able to, save the country from starvation, they were able to reap that benefit. Yeah.
I think the operative word here is purpose.
Purpose, yes,
The
purpose.
Most High's purpose.
Yes, that was a purpose. So that way he can bring into Egypt Jacob and the other sons, so that way they can be preserved, so that way we can be here today. If you really think about it, that way Yahushua can be brought forth, David, Solomon, us, right? Imagine if Jacob and the 12 the other 10 kids died in Egypt, died in Canaan because of starvation. Think about it. Remember, Jacob went blind at one point. He couldn't eat and he couldn't hunt and all this other stuff. Not to say he was no use, but he couldn't do as much as he could. Remember, and he had a dislocated hip. So he was all messed up. He couldn't do much for himself. They had to take care of him. But just imagine if they died in Egypt, died in Canaan of starvation. So it was the Most High's will and his purpose to send Joseph, I keep getting those two mixed up, send Joseph into Egypt to save much people alive. And Joseph understood that.
Right.
All right. Let's go back to Genesis and read verse 20 again.
Okay. Where's that? You're on 20 or 20?
Genesis 50 and 20.
Okay, Genesis 50 and 20. But as for you, ye thought evil against me.
Right. Y'all thought that y'all were doing evil against me, which they did. Right. They did an evil thing against them. Right. Go ahead.
But the Most High meant it unto good, to bring to pass, as it is this day, to save much people alive.
Save much people alive. There are many people who are alive today because of the actions of Joseph. All right. Read on.
Now therefore, fear ye not. I will nourish you and your little ones.
And your little ones, right? Go ahead.
And he confronted them and spake kindly unto them.
Right. So Joseph he had no hate and no evil in his heart towards his brothers. Even though they did an evil and hateful thing against him, right? He had no hate, no evil, no ill intent against them. All right, go ahead.
And that's the spirit of the Most High.
Absolutely.
That's where he wants us to eventually wind up, with that kind of mentality.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Zach.
As I was saying, the same pertain to once he understood, his purpose, then he knew not to have no grudges against them.
Exactly.
The scripture you just read, all things work together for good.
So Joseph understood that, and he can't have any hatred in his heart because then it would take him off of his purpose. It would have took him off of his purpose if he held in those grudges towards his brothers, right? Go ahead.
Yeah, and just one more thing. That's also called fruit. That mentality that Joseph had, that's the fruit of the Spirit of the Most High. So that's also called fruit in the scriptures.
And hopefully his brothers take that to heart and pass that on to their children and start to bear good fruit also, because you know they were forgiven. Remember, forgiveness is not for the for the forgiven, but it's for the forgivee, really. Because if Joseph never forgave his brothers, who knows what would have happened? Who knows how everything would have turned out? Maybe he would have slew them, right? Maybe he would have had them put to death for the evil that they did, right? Read on.
22. And Joseph dwelt in Egypt, he and his father's house, and Joseph lived 110 years.
In 110 years. Joseph lived to be 110. Read on.
And Joseph saw Ephraim's children of the third generation.
Right.
The children also of Machir, the son of Manasseh, were brought up upon Joseph's knees.
So he saw his great grandchildren, okay, up into the third generation. Ephraim's children of the third generation saw his great grandchildren. All right. Remember, he lived 110, so he's bound to see somebody, right? Read on.
Okay. 24. And Joseph said unto his brethren, I die, and the Most High will surely visit you and bring you out of this land unto the land which he swore to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob.
Right. So Joseph understood that his time was coming, right? Go ahead.
25. And Joseph took an oath of the children of Israel, saying, Yahweh will surely visit you,
right,
and he shall carry up my bones from hence.
Right. He said, I won't be buried here either. Okay. Just like dad was not buried here. So I will not be buried here either. Right. Read on.
So Joseph died, being 110 years old. They embalmed him, and he was put in a coffin in Egypt.
Put in a coffin in Egypt. Give me 1 second. Yeah, we don't have to read that. Hold on. It's 13. So I have precept here written for some reason. I just want to see what they say to see if they really go with the story for now. Where's 13? 13 said 13, 17, and 19.
But they were definitely doing that embalming thing in Egypt.
Oh. Okay. We'll read about that. We'll read about this thing on the Passover night. Bless you. Okay, because actually when we left Egypt through Moses, we actually took, bless you, we actually took Joseph's bones with us when we left on the Passover night. We left and they took Joseph's bones, literally. It says we took them with us. All right. Jump into Exodus chapter 1 and 1.
Exodus 1 and 1? Exodus 1 and verse 1. Now these are the names of the children of Israel which came into Egypt. Every man and his household came with Jacob.
Right.
Reuben, Simeon, Levi, and Judah.
Right. His first 4 sons. Go ahead.
Issachar, Zebulun, and Benjamin. Dan and Naphtali, Gad, and Asher.
Right.
And all the souls that came out of the loins of Jacob was 70 souls.
Wow, 70 souls.
For Joseph was in Egypt already.
Right, go ahead.
Okay. 6. And Joseph died, and all his brethren, and all that generation.
So Joseph died, all his brethren, everybody that came into Egypt with Jacob, everyone eventually passed away. Okay? It's just that simple. It was just a matter of life. Okay? I remember when my grandmother passed away, she was the last of her siblings to pass. And it really dawned on me like, wow, that entire generation is gone. So the same thing happened here. Joseph, his brethren, everybody that went into into Egypt with Israel died. All right, go ahead.
But these were our patriarchs. These
Yep.
were our forefathers.
These are our forefathers, and their children were still living in Egypt. Okay. Read
7.
on.
And the children of Israel were fruitful and increased abundantly,
Right.
and multiplied and waxed exceedingly mighty. And the land was filled with them.
And the land was filled. We were starting to overrun. We were starting to expand because remember, we had a particular land, a particular area in Egypt called Goshen, right? Eventually, as we started to multiply and multiply and multiply, we all can't fit in the same area, right? It was getting too densely populated. So we started to expand a little bit. And the Egyptians, they started to notice, okay? They started to notice this, right? Read on.
8. Now there arose a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph.
Right.
And he said unto his people, Behold,
Now this Pharaoh was Amos, okay? We went over this with Ben before. This Pharaoh that knew not Joseph was Amos, right? Go ahead.
behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we.
Right, see? And you can see this happening today in America. You see these Edomites, they're starting to be afraid that their numbers are dwindling and that our numbers are growing. And they're afraid of that thing. They're scared to be outnumbered because of the same reasons that we're about to read here. Go ahead.
Okay. 10. Come on, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply. And it come to pass that when there falleth out any war,
Right.
they join also unto our enemies and fight against us.
Right.
And so get them up out of the land.
Right. So they started to think that if Egypt were to go to war, that we would join their enemy. That we would join their enemies. Now, I don't know what gave them that indication. I don't know why they thought that about us, because we've been in Egypt for, at this point, I believe 55 years, or at least 50 years. So there was no reason, and considering what they've done for us, they treated our brother kindly. They treated our father with respect. I don't know what indication that we gave that we would join their enemies in any war. But just because we were outnumbering them, they started to be afraid of us, of our power. Okay, go ahead.
I think it was the culture different, because this new king, even though he didn't know Joseph, but they had the Egyptian customs. Like the Egyptians didn't like
shepherds.
shepherds,
Right, they were
you
right.
know, so that's why we were separated.
In fact, I should have gone over that. When it said that he knew not Joseph, it really means that he just didn't acknowledge any of Joseph's works, because Joseph was a Hebrew.
Right.
Okay,
right,
Joseph
right.
wasn't an Egyptian.
Right.
He was a Hebrew.
Right.
And they had no respect for the Hebrews. I
Right.
mean, well, they didn't have any respect for shepherds.
So
Okay.
he's telling them, you know, this you my people, you know, let's look at this thing.
Right, let's look at this thing. And like I said, America does the same thing. Whenever we start to become active, they start looking at us and it's just like, okay, what are they doing? What are these Negroes up to? Right?
Right.
And when, like I said before, their numbers are dwindling. All right. I think I saw a chart the other day. It said back in the I think 1950 census, America was like 85% white or something like that. Now the numbers like 58% or something to that effect. And they're starting to be afraid. They're scaring them. They're saying, hey, our numbers are dwindling. They're starting to outnumber us. Right? We got to do something about this.
God.
Okay. So the Egyptians started to become more crafty with us, right? He said, let us deal wisely with them and lest they multiply. Right? Go ahead.
11. Therefore they did set over them taskmasters to afflict them with their burdens.
Right. They set over as taskmasters, overseers. That's literally what, you ever heard the term supervisor? Supervisor literally means overseer. Okay. Look, I'm watching over you as you work, right? To afflict us, to make sure that that we're working harder. We're producing more and more and more. Okay. To keep us occupied. Right. Yeah, exactly.
You know when it says come on and let us deal wisely with them,
Right.
they multiply. Like in today's world, they come out with abortion too.
They come up with all this birth control plans and Planned Parenthood and eugenics and all of this other stuff to dwindle our numbers. If they poison our food, they poison the air, they stick us in the ghettos. They give us like they are on our jobs. We deal with harmful chemicals and things of that nature, and don't give us the proper PPE for it all, the protective equipment that we need, so that way we're working safe. They make it hard for us. They work us to death. That also that way we'll die. All these are all different crafty council plots, right? That what you read about in Psalms 83. All these evil plans and different ideas that they come up with to dwindle our numbers. This is what we're reading about. Okay, the Egyptians were doing this same exact thing. All right, but they went straight for the jugular. They went straight for murder. Okay, the Esau is a little bit more crafty because they can't just do it outright anymore. Okay, read on.
And they built for Pharaoh treasure cities, Pithom and Ramses.
Right, this is in the Valley of the Kings. Okay, read on.
12. But the more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied and grew.
Right, so the more that they afflicted us, the more that we multiplied and grew. Why? Because, let's just keep it honest, one of our best stress relievers is, sex. Yes. Okay, the more that we the more that we get, beat down by the world, the more that we, want to come to each other, and we want to embrace each other. Okay, and back then there was none of that stuff going on, none of the birth protection that we have today. So we was just having a bunch of babies, okay, left and right. We were having babies after babies after babies, and our women were fertile. Our women are still fertile today, and that's how it happened. We started to multiply and grow. Okay, that was a stress reliever for us. It still is to this day. It still is. Okay. Read on.
And they were grieved because of the children of Israel.
Right, go ahead.
And the Egyptians made the children of Israel to serve with rigor.
With hard labor, okay? It became more and more laborious for us. Read on.
14. And they made their lives bitter with hard bondage.
We were working hard every day from sun up to sundown. And remember, Egypt is in the middle of a desert. It's a desert country. So we were working in the hot sun, Northeast Africa, right? It's the hot sun. We working building temples and pyramids for these people every day, brick and mortar every day, heavy bricks and mortar. How do you think the pyramids are still standing? Right? Those pyramids are still up to this day. The pyramids of Giza, they're still standing. So that them bricks and them machines were heavy. We was working, okay? Working. All right. Read on.
In mortar and in brick.
And
in all manner of service in the field.
All manner of service in the field. Everything. We were doing everything for them. Just like in America, we're doing everything.
That's right.
Read on.
All their service, wherein they made them serve, was with rigor.
Everything that we did it in hard labor. Okay. There was no ease. We didn't have a job where we kicked our feet back and just relaxed a little bit. No, we were working from the moment we clocked in to the moment we clocked out. Working hard every day for these people, just like here in America.
That's right.
When we were in slavery, we worked literally from sun up to sundown, no breaks. Okay. And then we had to go back and sleep in our little shacks, sharing it with our relatives or whoever. Right? The shacks were no bigger than this room. 12, 14 people all sleeping in one room. And then we had to get up and do it all again the next day. Right? It's the same thing that we're reading about in Exodus 1 and 14.
That's right.
Everything that we did, we worked our tails off. All right? Read on.
15. And the king of Egypt spake to the Hebrew midwives, of which the name of the one was Shepherah, and the name of the other
Pua.
And he said, when ye do the office of the midwives to the Hebrew women, and see them upon the stools, if it be a son, then he shall kill him.
Right.
But if it be a daughter, then he shall save alive.
Right. So the king of Egypt, the Pharaoh, right, he essentially came out with an executive order, right, saying listen, when you see a Hebrew, when you see a son come from these Hebrew women, kill him. All right, this is literal birth control. Literally, this is birth control in action. Okay,
That's right.
population control. Kill those boys. Kill the male children. All right, the women y'all can save, but the boys, kill them. Right, and we went over this last week. All right, in Josephus, it tells you that one of these Egyptian seers or the magicians, they came across a prophecy saying that a Messiah would be born of the Hebrew children, and that he would be a male, right? And then when Moses was born, we read about when Moses was born, he actually knocked an artifact out of an Egyptian's hand, and they took it as a sign that that was the Hebrew boy that was born. All right.
Who knocked it out of his hand?
Moses, when Moses was a baby and he was in Pharaoh's house, he knocked something out of one of the Egyptians' hands. And the seers and the magicians and their whoever, right? They're prophets, quote unquote.
Right.
They saw that, and they took that as a sign that that was the boy that was prophesied to be born. Okay, it's in Josephus.
Okay.
So that's why Pharaoh came out with this edict, because they heard that prophecy. They heard that oracle, so to speak. Okay. So they came out with this prophecy, this edict, this executive order to kill all the Hebrew male children when they're born. And it says when they were on the stools, right? Because our women gave birth standing up, right? This new thing of laying down on their back, no, that's no, it's not supposed to be like that. Just our women are supposed to give birth standing up because gravity helps them, right? Come down, okay? They're supposed to give birth standing. All animals give birth squatting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Standing up,
or something to that effect. They don't give birth laying down and whatnot. No, especially on their backs. No, putting more strain on the lower extremities when they do that. Okay, that's Esau's thing. Esau came up with that nonsense. All right, read on. 17.
But the midwives feared the Most High and did not as the king of Egypt commanded them.
Right, because remember again we read about that in Romans where it said those who work out, or those who love the Most High, all things work out in their favor. So when the Most High saw that these Hebrew women, these wives, they did not honor that executive order that came from Pharaoh. They were still saving the men children. All right, read on.
But saved the men children alive.
See, they saved the men children alive. Go ahead.
18. And the king of Egypt called for the midwives and said unto them, why have you done this thing? And have saved the men children alive?
Why did you defy my orders? I gave you a direct order. Why did you defy me? Right? Go ahead. 19.
And the midwives said unto Pharaoh, because the Hebrew women are not as the Egyptian women.
Right.
For they are lively and are delivered ere the midwives come in unto them.
Right. They said, look, these Hebrew women, they pop them out. They don't take long for them to give birth. Their labors are quick, but they deliver. But by the time we even get there, the baby's born already. That's why. And the mothers are not just gonna give them up. We can't just take them from the women, from the mothers. No, they're delivered already by the time we get there.
Okay.
All right, read on.
20. Therefore Yahweh dealt well with the midwives, and the people multiplied and waxed very mighty.
See, there you go. So the people multiplied and waxed very mighty. Okay. So our numbers continue to grow in spite of this executive order of population control. Read on.
21. And it came to pass, because the midwives feared the Most High, that he made them houses.
He made them houses. He provided safety and shelter for them. He gave them safety and shelter because they feared him as opposed to what Pharaoh could do to them. All right, go ahead.
22. And Pharaoh charged all his people, saying, every son that is born ye shall cast into the river.
Right.
Gator bait. Wow.
Gator bait. Yep, that's exactly what it is. Gator bait. All right.
And every daughter ye shall save alive.
There you go. Go ahead. Read on.
And there went a man out of the house of Levi and looked and took a wife of a daughter of Levi.
Right.
And the woman conceived and bore a son. And when she saw him, that he was a goodly child, she hid him 3 months.
So She hid him 3 months, right? This is clearly talking about Moses, right? Go ahead.
And when she could not know, and when she could not longer hide him, she took him. She took for him an ark of bulrushes and dubbed it with slime and with pitch, and put the child therein. And she laid it in the flags by the river's brinks.
By the river's brinks. So
Brinks.
clearly she could not hide Moses any longer because it was hard to, hide the child, right? She clearly was fearful for his life. She was afraid that they were going to come into their house and take him from them. So she said, okay, I'm going to just cast him into the river myself, right? But so she made a little boat for him, a little ark, so to speak, and she pitched him down the river. Go ahead.
And his sister stood afar off to wit what would be done to him. And the daughter of Pharaoh came down to wash herself
Right.
the river.
This was Tutmos the first. Okay. This is Tutmos the first. That's the Pharaoh. Go ahead.
And her maidens walked along by the river's side. And when she saw the ark among the flags, she sent her maid to fetch it.
Right.
And when she had opened it, she saw the child. And behold, the baby wept.
The babe wept, right? The baby was crying. Go ahead.
And she had compassion on him and said, this is one of the Hebrew children.
Right. She understood immediately that, oh, this is not an Egyptian. This is a Hebrew baby. Right. So she knew that there was a difference between us. Right. Go ahead.
7. Then said his sister to Pharaoh's daughter, shall I go and call to thee a nurse of the Hebrew women, that she may nurse the child for thee?
Right. So she said, should I go call one of the Hebrew nurses so that way she can nurse the child? Go ahead.
And Pharaoh's daughter said to her, go. And the maid went and called the child's mother.
Right. Go ahead.
So this is totally different from the movie.
Absolutely.
You know?
The movies always lie. They call it artistic expression.
They had none of this.
None of this. All right.
9. And Pharaoh's daughter said unto her, take this child away and nurse it for me, and I will give thee thy wages.
Right.
And the woman took the child and nursed it.
Right.
And the child grew, and she brought him unto Pharaoh's daughter. And he became her son. And she called his name Moses, and she said, because I drew him out of the water.
I drew him out of water. Moses means drawn out. Okay. Masha. All right. Read on.
11. And it came to pass in those days, when Moses was grown, that he went out unto his brethren and looked on their burdens. And he spied an Egyptian smiting an Hebrew.
Right. Now, this is what this was under Tutmos the second now, okay? And it goes to show you that Moses, he knew all along that he was a Hebrew.
Of course. Yeah.
He knew he was a Hebrew, okay? Because it says as he grew, he knew, he went out and saw his brethren. He didn't just suddenly learn that he was a Hebrew. No, he knew the entire time.
But his mother weaned him.
Because it said, go get his mother. We know who his mother is. Go get this child's mother.
Right.
All right?
And she paid him.
Go ahead.
Okay, where we at?
Verse 12.
12. And he looked this way and that way. And when he saw that there was no man, he slew the Egyptian and hid him in the sand.
So Moses actually committed murder. Okay? We kind of gloss over this, but in the movie they made it look like an accident. No, Moses straight up killed this man. He hid the body. Go ahead.
You know, like in today's world, when he did that, and you're doing today's world, you gotta flee, you gotta run, right? And then now we gotta go sorry, Moses. I guess we said that was a felony, but the most I said.
Because he saw that he was abusing one of the Israelites. Okay. Go ahead. Read on.
13. And when he went out the second day, behold, 2 men of the Hebrews strove together.
Right. He saw 2 Israelite men fighting. And that's just to show you that this war between, Israelites is really nothing new. Okay. It's really nothing new. When 2 brothers are striving together and we working and we both hot, tired, angry, and sweaty, right? goes to show you that we will always fight each other, right? Read on.
And he said to him that did the wrong, wherefore smitest thou thy fellow?
Right. So why'd you hit him? What's the beef? You know what I mean? Go ahead.
And he said, who made thee a prince and a judge over us?
See, and then here go our people. Who are you to tell me anything, right? Instead of taking the correction and saying, hey, look, you two shouldn't fight each other.
Right, mind your business.
Mind your business, bro. This ain't got nothing to do with you, right? Read on.
Intendest thou to kill me as thou killest the Egyptians?
See, now you bring it. Why you bring that up? Right? What does that have to? First of all, what does me killing an Egyptian have to do with you two fighting? Mm-hmm. I killed that Egyptian because he was abusing one of us. Mm-hmm. Right? But now you two are fighting each other. Y'all shouldn't be fighting each other. And then here come the brother bringing over, yeah, you gonna kill us like you killed that Egyptian, huh? You gonna kill me too? No, I'm not. Like, why would you think that? But read on.
And Moses feared and said, surely this thing is known.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when Pharaoh heard this thing, he sought to slay Moses.
Ah, see, there it is. See, now word done got out that it was Moses that killed that Egyptian. Word got back to Pharaoh and said, hey, look, we found out who killed the Egyptian. It was Moses. Moses, the Hebrew, yes. That's been in this house all his life. Yes. Yeah. It was him. Oh, yeah, now he has to die. He's a traitor to us.
Right, my sister's son.
Right. Now he's a traitor. He done killed he killed one of us now. Mm-hmm. All right, read on.
But Moses fled from the face of Pharaoh.
Uh-huh.
And dwelt in the land of Midian.
In the land of Midian, right? Go ahead.
And he sat down by a well.
Right.
And the priest of Midian had 7 daughters.
Mm-hmm.
And they came and drew water and filled the troughs,
the troughs
to water their father's flock.
Right.
17. And the shepherds came and drove them away.
Right.
But Moses stood up and helped them and watered their flock.
Right. So some shepherds came to try and bully them into moving away. And Moses was like, no, they were here first. Let them do what they got to do. Then y'all can do y'all part too. All right. Read on.
I believe these were Edomites.
I believe so too.
I did that.
Of course. It's always Esau. It's in the way.
18.
Okay.
And when they came to Reuel, their father, he said, how is it that ye are come so soon today?
Right, because this is an all-day process. How is it that you guys got done so quickly? Right, go ahead.
And they said, an Egyptian delivered us out of the hands of the shepherds.
Right, so they thought that Moses was an Egyptian. Why? Because 1, he was wearing Egyptian garb, right? 2, he's a dark-skinned man, and everybody knew that the Egyptians were dark-skinned, right? And so they thought that he was an Egyptian. They confused him. They never got his name, right? They understood that he was they understood him to be an Egyptian. Okay, go ahead.
And also drew water enough for us and watered the flock.
Right. So Moses helped them. All right. Go ahead.
And he said unto his daughters.
And it just goes to show you the character of Moses. He will always defend somebody. Okay. Moses was always a defender of the people. Because he smote the Egyptian because the Egyptian was abusing somebody, right? And now he helped these Midianite daughters from being bullied by who we think are Edomites, right? They were there first, and then these shepherds come up and try to bully them off the block, basically. And Moses is just like, no, they were here, and now that you drove them off, I'm now gonna help them. Okay, it just shows Moses' character. All right, go ahead.
It just points out that that's that same spirit Joseph had.
Essentially, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's very important in Israel because that's the fruit that the Most High is seeking that we obtain. Mm-hmm. Well, between each other, because that's His spirit.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Like I was going to say the same. Whenever I read this, supposed to read Exodus, this once Moses did what he did, then he had to fled. Moses got him in training. Then we went to well. You know the scene in 10 Commandments. We went to the well, right? Yeah. And Lily Munster, that was the one, that wanted to be his wife. But once he got to what's that? When they got back, and then Moses asked her, he said, "What's that great light up there?" And you know what I'm talking about then. He said the Most High, the spirit that he wanted to go up there. Then that's the Most High told him to stop there. He said, I'm gonna send you back.
But yeah, it just goes to show you Moses' character, because he was always looking to defend. Okay, Moses came to people's aid, and that's why the Most High chose him. Okay, because he said, "No, you're gonna lead my people out of Egypt. You're the guy." Okay, because he slew somebody in defense of somebody else and warded off attackers for somebody else's benefit. You need somebody that's going to defend you in a time of peril, and Moses was that guy. All right, read on.
And where is he? Why is it that ye have left the man? Call him, that he may eat bread.
Right, and the father was like, "Okay, why did y'all leave him? Go get him. We have to reward this man for his works." Right, read on.
21. And Moses was content to dwell with the man. And he gave Moses Zipporah his daughter.
His daughter, right? Go ahead.
And she bare him a son, and he called his name Gershom. For he said, I have been a stranger in a strange land.
A stranger in a strange land. That's what Gershom means. It means stranger here. All right. I'm a stranger. All right. Go ahead.
And it came to pass in the process of time that the king of Egypt died, and the children of Israel sighed by the reason of the bondage.
Right.
And they cried, and their cry came up unto the Most High by reason of the bondage. And the Most High heard their groaning.
Right.
And the Most High remembered his covenant with Abraham, with Isaac, and with Jacob.
Right, go ahead.
And Most High looked upon the children of Israel, and the Most High had respect unto them.
They had respect unto us. Remember, the scripture says the Most High is not a respecter of persons, right? As individuals.
Right.
But as a nation, he has respect to us. Okay? So for verse 23, you could write down 2 Chronicles 7 and 14. Right? 2 Chronicles 7 and 14. When we cry and sigh unto the Most High, and we pray towards him, right, in repentance and hard bondage and with sincerity and earnest of the spirit, he hears us. Okay, he hears our cries and our prayers, right? We were crying so much for the Most High that he had to act. Okay, he had to. And we're going to read about that final act, that action, that start of motion, to show you how we come to the Passover, right? So we're going to read chapter 3, and then we're going to be done. All right? I know we did a lot of reading, but this is how we set the stage for Passover. All right? Yes. Read on.
Exodus 3 and verse 1. Now Moses kept the flock of Jethro, his father-in-law, the priest of Midian, and he led the flock to the backside of the desert and came to the mountain of the Most High, even to Horeb.
To Horeb. So Horeb is the mountain of the Most High, right? Mount Horeb. All right, read on.
And the angel of the Lord appeared unto him in a flame of fire out of the midst of a bush.
Right. So it says the angel of the Most High appeared to Moses in the bush, right? It said the angel's what? A messenger, right? All right, read on.
And he looked, and behold, the bush burned with fire.
Right.
And the bush was not consumed.
The bush was not consumed. So the bush was on fire, but it would not burn out. Okay? The bush would not burn to the ground, so to speak. Go ahead.
Right. 3. And Moses said, I will turn aside and see this great sight.
So Moses was like, oh, this is insane. I ain't never seen nothing like this before. I got to go check this out. Right? Go ahead.
Why the bush is not burnt.
Right.
And when the Lord saw that he turned aside to see, the Most High called unto him out of the midst of the bush and said, Moses, Moses.
Right. So imagine the bush is talking to him now. It's on fire. It won't burn. And now it's talking to him. Moses, Moses. It's calling him literally by name. Right? Read on.
And he said, here am I.
And Moses did not turn away from it. He said, look, he said, oh, that's my name. Somebody's calling my name. Right? Go ahead.
5. And he said, draw not nigh hither. Put off thy shoes from off thy feet. For the place whereon thou standest is holy ground.
You say you're standing on holy ground. You can't just wear your human shoes.
Flip-flops.
You can't be wearing your flip flops or your sandals or your sneakers on here. No, you've got to come here barefoot, brother. All right, you're standing on holy ground. This is not normal ground. All right, remember he's on Mount Horeb now. Well, he's near Mount Horeb, so he can't stand there just all willy nilly with just anything on. He has to be prepared for this. Okay, and the Lord told him, no, take off your shoes. Okay, you're standing on holy ground. The angel told Joshua the same thing. You can write down Joshua chapter 5 and verse 15. They told him the same thing. You standing on holy ground here. You got to take off your shoes, right? You're in the presence of the Almighty. You can't stand there all, normal and whatnot. No, you have to give this place reverence. Okay, read on.
6. Moreover, he said, I am the power of thy father.
He said, I'm the power of your fathers, right? The God of your fathers, right? Go ahead.
The power of Abraham,
Uh-huh.
the power of Isaac,
Uh-huh.
and the power of Jacob.
And the power of Jacob. So he knows, okay, this is the real deal now. Okay, he's in the Most High's presence. This is the real deal. Okay, read on.
And Moses hid his face,
Uh-huh.
for he was afraid to look upon the Most High.
He was afraid. It said he was scared. Okay, he was scared to look in the Most High's face, right? Hold that. Get me 1 Kings 19 and 13. Because Elijah did the same thing. Okay,
First Kings.
start at verse 12.
Hold on.
1 Kings 19 and 12. Because Elijah did the same thing when he was standing in Mount Horeb and he heard the Most High's voice. He did the same thing. He hid his face.
First Kings 19 and verse 12.
Mm-hmm.
And after the earthquake, a fire, but the Lord was not in the fire.
He was not in the
And
fire,
after
right?
the fire,
Uh-huh.
a still small voice.
It's still small voice, right? Go ahead.
And it was so when Elijah heard it that he wrapped his face in his mantle
Uh-huh.
and went out and stood in the entering in of the cave.
Right. So when Elijah was standing in the Most High's presence, right? He hid his face just to show that reverence. He was afraid to look at the Most High. All right. Go back to Exodus. Because remember, Elijah ran to Mount Horeb also. Okay, when he was fleeing from what's that whore's name? Who was the queen? I'm sorry. Who was the queen that put a hit out on Elijah? What's her name? Jezebel. Thank you, Jezebel. When he was running from Jezebel.
Elijah, yeah.
Okay, he ran to Mount Horeb. All right. Go back to Exodus.
Okay. And Moses hid his face, for he was afraid to look upon the Most High. 7. And the Lord said, I have surely seen the affliction of my people which are in Egypt,
Right.
and have heard their cry by reason of their taskmasters. For I know their sorrow.
Right. So the Most High heard us. He heard us crying about the bitter bondage we were in. Right. Go ahead.
8. And I am come down to deliver them out of the hand of the Egyptians, and to bring them out of that land unto a good land,
Right.
a large land,
Uh-huh.
a large unto a land flowing with milk and honey.
Right. Flowing with milk and honey. The milk and the honey represent the resources and the abundance that we would
Flowers
have.
and the,
Uh-huh. Because
and the animals.
and the animals,
Cows,
the cows, the
goats.
goats, lamb, sheep, all that give us milk, right? And the honey, right? The bees of the land, right? The milk and the honey also represent the wisdom, all right, of the Most High. Because remember, the scriptures talk about the milk of the word, desire the sincere milk of the word, right? And the honey, remember the scriptures when we ate the book, it was sweet in our mouth like honey,
Right.
but when it got down to our inner parts, it was bitter. Right, so the land was going to be good for us. It was where the Most High's presence would be. Okay, the Most High put His name in that land. That's where we would be. So when we talk about a land flowing with milk and honey, everything that we ever needed was going to be in that land.
Right.
Okay, both spiritually and physically, everything that we would need. All right, read on.
Unto the place of the Canaanites,
Uh-huh.
and the Hittites,
Uh-huh.
and the Amorites,
Right.
and the Perizzites,
Uh-huh.
and the Havites, and the Jebusites.
Right. These are different nations that were occupying that land at the time. Read on.
Hamites.
Hamites, Africans, okay?
9. Now therefore, behold, the cry of the children of Israel has come unto me, and I have also seen the oppression wherewith the Egyptians oppressed them.
Right, go ahead.
Come now therefore, and I will send thee unto Pharaoh, that thou mayest bring forth my people, the children of Israel, out of Egypt.
Right, so he's saying, look, now, Moses, I have a job for you. Okay, your job, you're going to lead the children of Israel out of Egypt. You're going to be the deliverer, so to speak. Now, imagine hearing this for the first time. You was just tending sheep, right? You grew up in Pharaoh's house, right? In royalty, and understood the way of the Egyptian. Now, for the last however long, you've been raising sheep. For 40 years, you've been raising sheep. And now you're being told that you're gonna lead an entire group of people out of a country. You're gonna lead the Exodus. Right? Go ahead.
11. And Moses said unto the Most High, who am I that I should go unto Pharaoh, and that I should bring forth the children of Israel out of Egypt?
So Moses is just like, who am I that I should lead people?
I ain't ready for this.
I ain't ready for this. Absolutely not. I am not ready for this. Okay.
12.
I go to Pharaoh, me. I ain't been in Egypt in 40 years. And you're gonna send me? Okay. Read on.
Okay, 12. And he said, certainly I will be with thee, and this shall be a token unto thee,
Right.
that I have sent thee. When thou hast brought forth the people out of Egypt, ye shall serve the Most High upon this mountain.
See, it said upon this mountain, this very same mountain that you're standing on, Mount Horeb, right? He said, look, I will be with you the entire time, okay? And it'll be a token that when you lead the people out of Egypt, you're going to come back to this very place and worship me here, okay? You're going to lead the people here and they're going to worship me here, all right? Read on.
13. And Moses said unto the Most High, behold, when I come unto the children of Israel, and shall say unto them, the power of your fathers has sent me unto you.
Right.
And they shall say to me, what is his name?
What
shall I say unto them?
Right. So Moses is basically saying, okay, they're not going to believe me when I tell them that the Most High, your father, sent me to you. Because remember, he hasn't been there in 40 years. So they're going to ask him, oh yeah, what's his name then? What is his name? Basically asking for proof. Right. And this is where the issue becomes a little tricky for a lot of Israelites because of this next verse. All right. Read on.
Okay, 14. And the Most High said unto Moses, I am that I am.
Right. So a lot of Israelites read that and say that this is the Most High's name. When he says, I am that I am. In Hebrew, that is Ahaya, Asher, Ahaya. I am that which I am, right? But is that his actual name? No. What is he doing here? What is the Most High doing here?
He's just referencing to himself.
When he's saying I am that I am, that's basically saying I'm everything.
Exactly. He's basically describing himself. There's no other way to describe the Most High. Just say, I just am. I'm everything. I'm existence. I am he. I just am. Everything. I'm all in knowing, right? All encompassing, omnipotent, omniscient, everywhere, omnipresent, all of the above. There's nothing that he can say that will describe himself better than I am that I am, right? Go ahead.
And he said, thus shalt thou say unto the children of Israel, I am has sent me unto you.
Right. So if he's saying it in the first person, he's going to say, I am. Right? He's not going to say he is. You're going to say, I am. I am have sent me to you. But then he goes on further to explain it more in verse 15. Read on. And I want you to read it correctly. All right? Yahweh. So, go ahead.
And the Most High said, moreover, unto Moses,
Uh-huh.
thus shalt thou say unto the children of Israel.
Right. He said, no, this is what you're going to tell the children of Israel. When Moses asked him, I am that I am, well, what is his name? He just said, he was talking to Moses, but he's telling Moses, this is what you're going to say to the Israelites, though. This is what I'm telling you, but this is what you're going to say unto the children of Israel, right? Go ahead.
And the Lord power of your fathers.
Wait, read that in Hebrew. It says, thus thou shalt say unto the children of Israel, because there's a point here that he's making. Go ahead.
Yahweh, your power.
There you go. Uh-huh.
Power of your fathers.
Right.
The power of Abraham, the power of Isaac, and the power of Jacob had sent me unto you.
So he said, you're going to tell the children of Israel, Yahweh have sent me unto you. The power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Okay? That is what you're going to tell the children of Israel. Right? Go ahead.
This is my name forever.
See, he said, this is my name. He is. Yahweh means he is, or he be, the existent one. He exists. Right? He said, you're going to tell the children of Israel, Yahweh has sent me unto you. All right? Read on.
And this is my memorial unto all generations.
There you go. So that is how we know that this is the Most High's name, Yahweh. Okay? In fact, I want you to hold that. Get me Exodus 6 and 3. We'll start at verse 2. I'm sorry. Verses 2 and 3.
Exodus 6 and 3.
Start at verse 2.
Oh, 2. Exodus.
We're almost done.
Exodus 6 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
Exodus 6 and 2. And Yahweh spake unto Moses and said unto him, I am the Lord.
Mm-hmm. I am the Lord Yahweh, right? Go ahead.
And I appeared unto Abraham, unto Isaac, and unto Jacob
Uh-huh.
by the name of all power almighty.
Right. He said, I appeared unto Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob under the name of power or God Almighty. In Hebrew, that's Alashadya. Okay. So Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob knew the name Alashadya. That's how they knew him. And what does Alashadya mean? It means the terrible demon-like power. He was so terrible and dreadful. Okay, because of all the things that we read about in Genesis, that's how they knew him. Okay, the terrible, scary, terrifying power. All right, that's how they knew him. But read on.
But by my name, Yahweh,
Uh-huh.
was I not known to them.
So Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob did not know the name Yahweh. Okay, they didn't know that name. But Moses knows it now. That's how he revealed it to them. But Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob knew him as Alashadya. Okay, they didn't know Yahweh, so to speak. They did not know that name in particular. They knew him by a different name. Okay, so we have the name Yahweh now. I've never heard any Israelite call him Alashadya. We always say Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai, right? We never use the name Alashadya. Okay, or El Shaddai, so to speak. All right, so let's go back to Exodus 3.
And he said, forever.
Forever. That's my name forever. Right? This is my eternal name forever. Okay? Unto all generations.
Exodus 3:16. Go and gather the elders of Israel together and say unto them, the Lord Yahweh, power of your fathers, the power of Abraham, of Isaac, and of Jacob, appeared unto me, saying, I have surely visited you and seen that which is done to you in Egypt.
Right. So the Most High is telling Moses exactly what to say. Right. He said, listen, go to the elders and say, Yahweh has sent me to you, and I'm going to deliver you from the land of Egypt. Right. Go ahead.
17. And I have said, I will bring you up out of the affliction of Egypt unto the land of the Canaanites.
Right.
And the Hittites, and the Amorites, and the Perizzites, and the Havites, and the Jebusites, unto a land flowing with milk and honey.
Land flowing with milk and honey. We spoke about what the milk and the honey is, right? Go ahead.
18. And they shall hearken to thy voice, and thou shalt come, thou and the elders of Israel,
Right.
unto the king of Egypt.
Right.
And ye shall say unto him, Yahweh, power of the Hebrews,
Of the Hebrews. Remember, he's our power. He's our God. All right. He is our power. All right. Go ahead.
had met with us.
Uh-huh.
And now let us go. We beseech thee 3 days' journey into the wilderness, that we may sacrifice to Yahweh our power.
Right. So he said, look, you're going to go, you and the elders are going to go to Pharaoh. You're going to say, please let us go into the wilderness for 3 days, and we're going to sacrifice to the power. Right? Go ahead.
And I am sure that the king of Egypt will not let you go. No, not by mighty hand.
Right. He said, look, understand there will be some resistance. Okay. There will be stiff resistance from Pharaoh. He's not going to abide by this. He's not going to just let you guys go. All right. Read on.
20. And I will stretch out my hand and smite Egypt with all my wonders, which I will do in the midst thereof.
Right. Uh-huh.
And after that, he will let you go.
So we're seeing the stages being set now for the Passover. Okay? Because he's telling Moses, look, this is how it's going to go. You're going to go to the elders. You're going to say the Most High sent me back here so that way, because we getting ready to get up out of here. Right? We're going to go to Pharaoh and we're going to say, Pharaoh, we want to go into the wilderness. We want to get out of here. We're going to go and worship the Most High, and he's not going to let you go. So because of that, I'm going to have to show Pharaoh I'm running things here. Okay. I'm going to have to show Pharaoh all my wonders and all my might. And then he's going to let you go afterwards. All right. And we all understand that this takes place during the Passover. All right. Go ahead.
And also us, he's showing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's showing us too. Yes.
Well.
That we have the one true God on our side.
And how terrible he is.
Yeah, absolutely. All right.
21. And I will give this people favor in the sight of the Egyptians.
So the Most High, I'm sorry, Salah, the Most High's favor is on Israel. Okay. He favors us. All right. Go ahead.
And it shall come to pass that when ye go, ye shall not go empty.
Right.
But every woman shall borrow of her neighbor and of her that sojourneth in her house.
So everything. So we're going to leave Egypt with riches. Okay. We weren't going to leave empty handed. All right. Read on.
Jewels of silver and jewels of gold.
Right.
And raiment.
And clothing. Okay. Go ahead.
And ye shall put them upon your sons and upon your daughters, and ye shall spoil the Egyptians.
And you shall spoil the Egyptians. So we see here that the stage is still being set for the Passover. All right. For our exodus out of Egypt. Okay. I'm going to stop there for the sake of time. All right.
Let me say this though.
Let
me say this about that verse.
Go ahead.
Now the way they have it here, that you're going to borrow, and then down here they say you're going to spoil them.
Right.
That does not go together.
Right. So we were literally just going to take from them.
We were just going to take.
We're just going to take it.
But I'm just showing you how they word this thing.
Yeah, it's
because it doesn't add up.
It's old Quaker English. So borrow back then didn't always mean like, that we were just literally going to borrow from them. Right. We ain't friends. All right. In fact, give me 1 second. I'm gonna go to the dictionary real fast. Because that's a very interesting point. It says that we were going to borrow from the Egyptians. No, we were going to take from them. Right. In fact, they were going to give us.
Right.
Okay.
Because he already said he's going to favor us in the sight of them.
Right. So there's no reason for us to borrow anything. We're not giving it back.
Right.
We just going to take it. It's like, give me 1 second, okay?
You got to watch Esau, man, because he be wording, throwing these words in there that'll throw you off if you're not paying attention. Because that does not go with them being spoiled.
Borrow. Okay. It says borrow. Take and use something belonging to someone else with the intention of returning it. Now, clearly not giving it back. Why they wouldn't even want it back? What would they use it for? Right? Huh? Of course, sis.
Egyptian, that was the approach. They told them we were borrowing the goods. And then when we left, we said our intentions were not to return.
Exactly. We're not coming back. We have no intentions of coming back here.
But I don't think we told them we was gonna
To
borrow.
get it. That's
No, I don't think so.
no.
No,
Don't think
because he
so?
said he's gonna favor us in the sight of them. Because look at what happened.
Yeah.
They were rushing us to get out, and Pharaoh told us, "Take whatever you want."
You have to
We didn't ask them anything. He
So
gave it to us.
one of the words here, in fact, can you go into the blue letter real fast? And look up that word borrow, and we'll see what the actual Hebrew word for it is. Because remember, we're reading Old English, right? Because another word here that they use is bargain. You know what I mean? One of the words that they use here is bargain. And in fact, I'm gonna go here on my phone also, the blue letter, and see what it says there.
I can't get it on here.
No? Okay, then I'll.
Receiving money or good, borrowing, money, banking, no.
Maya.
Let's see. Bottomless, no.
What did we just read? 3 and 22.
Yeah.
It says, "But every woman shall borrow of her neighbor, and of her that sojourneth in her house, jewels of silver." Oh, I get it now. So it's saying that here we were going to borrow from other Israelite women, and then we were going to spoil from the Egyptians.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So that was that's two incidents.
Two instances,
Two different instances.
right? Because it says every woman. It says, "But every woman shall borrow of her neighbor, and of her that sojourneth in her house,
Ah.
jewels of silver and jewels of gold and raiment, and ye shall put them on your sons and upon your daughters, and you're going to spoil the Egyptians."
Right.
And we were going to take from the Egyptians. Okay?
Yeah, because remember, they was anxious to get us
They
out.
were right. They were trying
thought
to get us
we all
out.
gonna be dead men.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get them out of here.
Let's get them the hell up out of here. We don't want these people here no more. Okay? The water to the brother who sent me that.
Take whatever you want.
Take whatever y'all want. Just get out. Okay? Get out. Okay? Because the Hebrew word for borrow is sha'al.
Sha'al, right?
Right?
Sha'al.
And it says a primitive root to inquire, by implication to request, by extension to demand, ask, counsel
Yes,
on,
ask.
beg, borrow, lay to charge, consult, demand,
Interrogate.
right? Desire,
Consult.
earnestly inquire, greet, obtain leave, lend, pray, request, require, salute, straightly, assuredly, wish. Okay? To ask, inquire, borrow, beg, right? To ask for oneself, ask for leave of absence. To inquire carefully. To beg, practice beggary. That's different. Okay? So yes, when it says that we were gonna borrow from
Each other.
kind. We were gonna borrow from each other.
That's what I got the word there.
Right. Okay?
Right. Con.
So we were gonna borrow from each other, and then we were gonna spoil the Egyptians. Two different instances. All right.
Yes. Con.
So as we see, the Passover is being materialized here. It's happening. Like the Most High is making things happen here. All right. So I'm gonna end there. Might pick up another day before the Passover, hopefully Most High willing. And so with that, I say Shalom, Ashar Shabbath, and Precursor to Passover. Precursor to Passover. Right? That say Shalom, brothers and sisters.
1 minute.
Were there any questions in the comments? Look in the comments real fast. See if anybody's had any questions or anything of the sort. Yeah. Anybody had any questions? Let me see. Let me go to the live feed myself. I'm good with answering questions. Hold on, let me see.
Shalom,
Who's that?
Michael D.
Oh, that's Jeremiah. Shalom, Jeremiah. When is the Q&A? The Q&A is tomorrow. Big Lando. I see the comment. Yeah, Big Lando. The Q&A is usually tomorrow. When I teach the steward class, I usually do the Q&A. I've done, like, I call it the study hall, right? That's usually done tomorrow after the main service. Okay, so if most I will, if I'm here tomorrow, and I'm teaching the steward class, and I usually do it then. Have the trivia, the true false, scripture recall. That's usually done during the second service. Okay. Let's see what else. Remember, these were the real Egyptians, not the Hyksos that were ruling in Joseph's time. Khan, Sister Saladoni, Khan. Yes, the real Egyptians took back over. Okay, after Joseph ruled. All right. Shout out for Dover, Delaware. Dover, Delaware. Jeremiah, you got to come back to school, man. We miss you. Got to come back to school. We miss you big time. Well, hopefully things are going on well in Delaware. Paulette here. Sister Paulette, the steward class is usually like around 4:45 to 5 o'clock. Okay, because remember we have the main service starts at 12, 12:30, 12:15 sometimes, and then we go on to like maybe 2:30, 3 o'clock, and then we break, and then we fellowship after the main service, and then we come back for the second service around like 4:45. Usually after the camp leaves, that's when I try to start the class. But yeah, so it'll be like around maybe 4:45, 5 o'clock, right? And Jeremiah, you'll be here for Passover. All praises, all praises. Good to hear. See you then, most I will. Okay. That's a different question for a different class, Jeremiah. That's a different question for a different class. All right. That, trust me, I gave everybody homework last week. They had to read 2 different chapters, and I'm gonna quiz them on it, so to speak, tomorrow. So the question that you just sent me, that's a different class, a different question for a different class, but I will use that in the future, probably during the week of Passover, of unleavened bread. So we'll probably touch that question another time. But it's a good question because I actually know the answer to that. Okay, I actually know the answer to that. Is there anything else?
Yeah, I just want to remind everyone that saw this class tonight to take note on the spirit that Joseph had and Moses had, and how they connect with each other as far as being humble and subservient and forgiving, because it's an important element in the development of Israel and everybody as an Israelite. And there will be a class on that. Most I will, and very soon.
Kind. Especially as, remember, during the Feast of Unleavened Bread, we have to purge out all those negative things about us anyway. That are within us. Kind. We have to purge all of those things out. Okay. Let's see. Oh yes, and also everybody that is keeping, or everybody in the congregation, we have a meeting tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Right? Everybody who's a member of the House of David, we will have a congregational meeting to go over final details about the Passover, because it'll be here soon. Right? I remember every Passover that I've ever been to. I remember every single one of them. This will be my 11th Passover. I remember every single one of them. So the time is flying. All right, time is flying, and before you know it, we'll be eating Passover meals in the kingdom. Okay.
You know what I'm
Sister Karata's the chapters were 1 Kings 15 and 16. Okay, 1 Kings 15 and 16. Okay, read it, study it, analyze it. We will be I will be going over those 2 chapters with you all tomorrow, most high willing. Okay, so read it, study it, dissect it, analyze it, prepare for any type of question. All right. Also, those brothers and sisters who failed to do the report 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago, or almost a month ago, I got 3 of them. They were all really good. Okay, since Chicago, yours was really good. I really enjoyed yours. Brother,
Who's that?
huh?
Who's that?
Shifkai, the elder sister
Chef
over
Gaia.
here. She wrote a really good one about Joseph, nonetheless. She wrote about Joseph. It was really good. Okay. She wrote about Joseph. Caleb wrote about Obadiah. And his daughter Madeline, she wrote about Jeremiah. Okay, and they were all really good. Caleb said that he wanted to redo his, but yes, all of those who did not submit one tomorrow, I gave y'all extra homework because now you have to write 2 pages. Okay, and you have to study for those 2 chapters. All right. Listen, we have to be scholars, right? We're scholars, right? So you have to understand how to write a report, how to write a thesis. Gabriel sent me a funny message, but yes, this is what happens tomorrow. All right, it's all due tomorrow. Khan,
Go
ahead. Wait, hold on, real fast. You won't be here tomorrow, right?
No, I'll be here tomorrow night.
Okay. So you know what? You're responsible then too. The assignment was, yeah, you're not escaping.
Is that why you said that?
You're not escaping. So the assignment was to pick your favorite biblical character outside of Yahushua, right? Can't be Yahushua. Got to be somebody else. Okay. And you have to write a 1-page report on their life, their mission, and how the Most High used them. Okay, well, how did the Most High use them? You can include any details you want. What tribe, how old they were. It can be male, female, it doesn't matter. All right. Just write a 1-page report. I'll give you 1 page because you haven't been here. I know your situations, but 1 page. It can be handwritten. It can be typed. Just 1 page, and include every Bible verse that you're gonna cite. Every Bible verse that you're gonna use for them. Okay. All right. If you give that to me tomorrow, I'll give you. Listen, if you can try your hardest. If not, next week. But next week you're gonna require 2 pages. Okay. All right. Go ahead, Zach.
Now, this is see how so many years we didn't know the truth. So now we come into the truth. You gotta look at it as when we went to Esau school, when they said a book report is due by so and so time, right? And they give you time, whatever, right? You have to do it. But this is basically the same thing. And how to say, like tomorrow, so I'll be here, man. If you don't study, oh man, you want people to be laughing at you, this, that, third. Same thing in Esau school. Same thing. Would you say the wrong?
Same thing. All right. The scripture says to study to show thyself approved.
There you go.
Okay. Study to show thyself approved. So that's why I do these things with y'all. Okay. That's why I do these things, because you have to show yourself approved. You have to know what you're talking about. Okay. You have to, in and out of season. Scripture says in and out of season. We have to know what we're talking about. We have to really live by this book. This is our Constitution. This is our Bill of Rights, right? This is our code of conduct, our law. This is what we do.
Well, that's good. So that means that we should be able to get more teachers up here.
Absolutely. That's why Labra'an was saying every camp member has to do these classes, because it just can't fall on Ben and Ricard to teach every week. Right. We have to share the load. Right. Okay. And we also have to know what we're talking about. We can't just come up here and be dummies. All right, because people will pick apart what we're saying and they'll say, oh, look, he's a false teacher. You don't want to be charged as a false teacher. All right. So is there any other questions in the chat? Any other comments and concerns? I think Elder Rakar was watching. Elder Rakar, is there anything that you need to say? Anything you want to address before we close out?
I don't see him. I know he's M.
No, it's not him.
He's not him.
That's not him. No, he's
P.
no C.
Uh,
If you Elder Rakar, if you're still watching, is there anything you want to address? Anything you want to say? We saw Bunyamin earlier. He was here, so shalom to him. But yes, is there anything else? All hearts, minds
okay,
clear.
C's up there.
Yeah, you see him, right? Mighty lesson. The water says mighty lesson. The water. But yes. So stay tuned for the steward class tomorrow. Stay tuned for the main Sabbath day service. I'm not sure who's teaching tomorrow. It might be Ben. I'm not sure. But Most High will. We all see you tomorrow here at the school. Again, we are located 191 Howard Avenue in Brooklyn. Okay, 191 Howard Avenue in Brooklyn. All Israel's welcome. Okay, come and fellowship with us. We welcome all Israelites. Okay, come fellowship, worship with us. Come learn the Bible. Come learn the truth. Our people are welcome here. Okay, with that, I say shalom and let's close it out.